All right, everybody, welcome back to the FreeBSD educational course that I am teaching. Remember, there would be no Unix without you. Okay, good, right? All right, that's how we're going to start the video. Uh, what I need you to do is log in to your FreeBSD machine via SSH, and then once you are in there, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to type uname switch A. So that's uniform, November, Alpha, Mike, Echo, space, switch being the dash, and then A is an alpha lowercase. And what we're doing here is we're taking a look at the current version of FreeBSD that we're running. And so you can see here at the time of making this video, I'm on FreeBSD 13, but I'm on 13.0-release. Now, it's important to remember whenever your system needs an update, if you try to update packages or anything like that, typically FreeBSD is going to come back and it's going to say, hey, you're on version 13.0. That version is only going to be good for an additional X number of weeks. You need to upgrade to 13.1 or whatever. Because that's how you're going to get your security updates. That's going to be the method by which you make sure that your system's going to continue to work correctly. It's how you defend yourself, right? That's the most basic piece of computing. So, we're at 13.0. 13.1 is the newest release, and we need to understand that eventually 13.0 is going to no longer be supported and we won't be able to get software for it. So it's time to do the update. So we're going to start off by typing sudo freebsd-update fetch, and we're going to hit enter. And we're going to see that it's going to go through and it's going to start that process of checking, hey, is there an update available? And if there is, it's going to start pulling down all of the files necessary for us to be able to conduct that update. And the way that FreeBSD works is it doesn't just update files. What it does is it goes in and it fetches all of the updates first. And then once you have updated those files, then the next thing that you'll do is you'll run the install command. And then once you have installed all of those updates, then the next thing that you can do is you can actually roll back in the event that it doesn't work or if there's a problem. Now, I don't have any intention of needing to roll back, and I already know what version we're going to use, but the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the FreeBSD update with the fetch, and then we're going to do FreeBSD update install. And then once that's been done and we have all of the latest security updates, then we're going to go in and we're going to start the process of updating to 13.1. So you can see here, it has started the process of letting us know, hey, this is everything that you're going to have removed or added or so on and so forth. All of that is done. You can see here, warning, FreeBSD 13.0 release is approaching its end of life date. It is strongly recommended that you upgrade to a newer release within the next 3 weeks. Fantastic. That is what we are doing right now. So we are going to now start the install. And mind you, we're making sure that we are at the latest version of all of our current packages under 13.0. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to update to the latest system. Now, this does take a significant amount of time, and at some point I'm going to end up pausing the video, and once I pause the video, we'll do all that movie magic to have me just kind of pop back in as necessary. And I'm going to copy, paste, type sudo, and then here that 9 actually needs to be a 13. So we're updating to 13.1 release. We're going to hit enter. And you'll see it starts fetching metadata, looking to see what all needs to be pulled down. It's going to manage a whole bunch of stuff for us. And at some point, it's going to ask us if the information that it has or what it has discovered, if it looks reasonable. For us, for those of you who are following along with the video, yes, all of this looks reasonable and it's totally fine. If you haven't added a whole bunch of kernels, if you haven't built a custom kernel from source, if you haven't added a ton of drivers, if you haven't done anything, I'm going to use the word weird, but just for the sake of this video, if you haven't done anything beyond what we've done, then all of this will be fine. So we're going to hit yes. And then it's going to start that process of pulling all of the patches and pulling all of the information that we need. Now, mind you, maybe too late to say this, but before I got started with this, I took a snapshot. And so, having taken that snapshot, I will be able to roll back in the event that anything goes sideways. So, if I have a problem here, I break something, something freaks out, I mess up, I have a power outage in the middle of this update, something terrible happens, then I can go back and I can fix that. Okay. So, it is going to start that process of inspecting the system. When the inspection is done, then the very next thing that's going to end up happening is we are going to be able to pull down all of the files that we need. But the kind of cool thing is none of that stuff has been written yet over top our operating system. So FreeBSD is very, very careful not to allow you to break things because it's going to constantly and continuously check to see if, hey, is this sane? Hey, does this look okay? Uh, do you see a problem here? This is the information that I'm pulling through my automated scripts. Is all of this okay? And then only after you have done that review and only after you have come back and said, yeah, hey, everything here looks good, then it will come back and it will function the way that you want it to function. And so we can see here the inspecting of the system is done. I'm going to do some movie magic. I'm going to stop the recording for a moment and then I will splice all this back together. So the amount of time that this take is going to be seconds for you, but for me, this is going to take approximately 6 minutes. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. That has finally completed. It took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. So the very next thing that you're going to do is you're going to rerun the FreeBSD update install command. We're going to hit enter. And this is going to take all of the files that were pulled down, merged into other folders, and then it's going to start that process of installing everything. So now everything has been installed. So what we have to do is we have to actually reboot this box, and that doesn't take an enormous amount of time. It should be back up fairly shortly. It's one of the things that I like about having such a very small, tightly compressed FreeBSD box is you can get back into the system relatively quickly. Give it just a few seconds here. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh my goodness. There it goes. Sudo FreeBSD update install. So we're going to run FreeBSD update install again. And then I will reboot the box one more time when this is completed. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to do some fetch and just make sure that everything is okay. Check that the install is done. I'll reboot the box. I will shut the box down. I will then take a snapshot of this machine and then come back into it. And I am doing a little bit more than you would normally do if you were using the system in production. Obviously, the box is going up and down as I'm doing all of these things, but we're using this for educational purposes, right? And so the best thing that you can do is make sure that after doing something major like this, we have another snapshot. We're going to get another system snapshot that we can use to roll back in the event that we make any changes or we discover something's broken or anything. So I've got my, hey, system is known good, do my upgrade, we think it's good, take a snapshot, and then we can use that system and then we can work from there. So if we break something and we know that we can just roll back, hey, we can stay with these updates. Or if we break something, we find out, hey, we really got to roll back to 13.0, then you can do that. Now, if you're working with like a hypervisor or you're working with any systems um, out in the real world, you can still use these snapshots. You can still go in there and you can use snapshots in order to make sure that your system is going to be in a state in which you can roll it back pretty much at any time. And I recommend using those snapshots. Take advantage of that. You might not be able to do it at a company that you're at, depending on how they do business. If you have a really good DevOps team, that DevOps team, they're going to have an Ansible playbook or similar, Puppet, Chef, whatever your flavor of the day is, right? But they're going to have some form of playbook or method in which they can run the commands that they need, and then they can roll that system back. They can reinstall that system, and they can have that box up and running over and over and over back into a known good state, no matter what's going on at the drop of a hat. Everything is designed to be kind of ephemeral. So the purpose of that, this idea of running your system this way, is if you work at a big company and you have a web page, that web page is going to run off of perhaps a single server, and then you're going to expand from there and you're going to have maybe a proxy server that sits in front of that to funnel all of the traffic back. Well, if you have your system set up correctly and you're able to instantaneously take these boxes down and then bring them back up and you configure them correctly, if you need to handle additional traffic, you can do so simply by standing up more machines to be able to send the work to, like I said, on like a web page or something similar. Really couldn't do that if you're doing all of this by hand, right? But that is the secret sauce that starts to open up the doors to being able to save tons of money whenever you start using services like Amazon AWS. The vast majority of us, myself included, who use, and I'm going to reset, I'm actually going to do that fetch real quick. The vast majority of us who are using Amazon AWS are probably not using it to the fullest extent, right? We're not running their DNS. We're not pushing traffic out to a whole bunch of boxes. We're not potentially, excuse me, standing up multiple systems. Uh, Many people that I know just stand up a single box, maybe throw some caching or memcached or something like that up, and then they use a tool like Cloudflare. And that's their method for handling increased traffic. They don't have a method internal for doing it. And that's okay. If that's how you want to do things, that's how you want to do things. I have some issues with the privacy concerns related to that and some of the problems that we have seen that have previously occurred with Cloudflare, in which people running Cloudflare ended up having to change all of their passwords because Cloudflare went in and was keeping information that they shouldn't be keeping, and that ended up getting leaked, and there was a whole bunch of stuff involved. But if that's how you want to do it, that's how you want to do it. Okay, everything here seems to be working, so I'm going to shut this box down, and then we're going to come here, and as soon as this machine stops running, I'm going to shoot myself another snapshot. So we will do snap 08 here momentarily. We're just waiting for this to finish. Shut off. And that is down. So, new snapshot. I can say 13.1 update. And then we can say snap 08 upgraded to 13.1. So now that is up and running. You can start the box again. Here. Clear. And then we're going to SSH into this machine. And we will run uname to finish off this video, just to make sure that everything that we expected to be done is officially done. So let's give it a few seconds here. Go. And uname switch A, and we see we are on 13.1 release, which is the latest version of FreeBSD. And did it take a little while? Yeah, sure, took a little while just because of the downloads and all of the compiling and everything else that needed to be done. Was it a terrible experience? I don't think so. And of course, anytime you want to go back to the FreeBSD manuals, you can use those FreeBSD manuals in order to figure out how to do exactly what I did. So with that said, thank you very much. Without you, there would be no Unix, and I will talk to you all later.